got the Playmaker workbook has everything for you step by step. So as
Okay.
you fill in all of those pages, even if it's just like one word here or a sentence or draw a picture or, you know, whatever helps you remember something about that subject, that will guide you all the way through so that by the end of it, you will have a nice big robust presentation, you know, that you can turn that into a presentation when you meet your European counterparts. And then we're going to have like a little rough run of your presentations with us so that you can practice with us, you know, before you have to meet one of the European entrepreneurs. So you get to practice it with us. And we're thinking we might offer it like as an office hours moment, since there are many of you and different people have different schedules. So then you can sign up, you know, for a day and a time, and then you can have a dry run of it. But I'm assuming that to fill it in and to think it through will probably take about a week or two. I think that the presentation, the Playmaker book has I don't know exactly how many pages. Do you know, Theo, how many pages are in the
I think
Playmaker?
80, 85, 85 or 85.
Right, 85 pages or so. Yeah. So therefore, you know, well, it'll probably take you a week or two to be able to just think through it and go, you know, flip, 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 and write your ideas down. And like I said, what I find most useful is you jot down the first time you just go flip, flip, flip all of the pages without writing anything, just to kind of capture the ideas in your head. Then you sit down again, and this time you either write something down right away for the pages that you know what to say something about, or you draw a doodle, or you can use a few French words, you know, in addition to your English words. Then your third time, that's the time that you do it in earnest. You go ahead and you will go ahead and write sentences or a diagram or whatever it is that's going to help you for your presentation. So that's how I like to use the playbook. The first time around, I just get familiar with it. So flip, flip, flip. So basically, I'm just kind of photo reading the book, just to let my brain capture all of the ideas. Then the second time, you're going to go for the pages that jumped out at you, right? That you already know. Oh yeah, I already know that. And then you go ahead and you write that down on the pages that you already know. It doesn't have to be in sequential order, it can be in any order that you like. Then the third time, that's when you go in and you fill in the pages that you didn't think about before, and you perfect the pages that you did know before, okay? And then that will give you a nice, robust, strong basis to be able to talk about your project with anybody at any level. And then you can be able to practice that, you know, with us, do a one time practice, and we can hold some office hours where you can sign up and do that. Okay. It's a very useful tool. So I hope that you enjoy it. I know I was thinking,
Okay.
so I know you'll enjoy it.
Okay. I can share about the steps and action already done, I think.
Okay,
That's what
cool.
I'm doing. That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
But
I know, right? So it's exactly the same path that you were telling us that you were embarking on. It's a different format. So it's a brain-friendly format to allow you to accelerate your thinking process and to allow you to make a quantum shift in terms of how you express yourself about your project in English. So yeah, I mean, a lot of your colleagues also said the same. They have these ideas in French, right? So for them, they got to make sure that they can tell the story in English, not just in French. So I think that this Playmaker book will really be a great assistance for that. Super. All right. Well, we got this one short one that will also help for some of those pages, because there were some questions about this, about leaders, mentors, and coaches. Like, when do you need to be wearing your leadership hat? When do you need to be wearing your mentor hat? And when do you need to be wearing your coach's hat, right? So let's see about this. It's a short one since today is a short day. So let's go on to the first slide there. So thinking about this in terms of your dream, right? Your dream is going to become real in terms of what it is that your project is manifesting. And you yourself have explained to us in a very clear manner that you've gone through many perfections, focusing, sharpening the focus of your project as you have progressed through it, right? So now it feels like if it's more ready to be into the open market. And that has a lot to do with, how you manipulate and how you interpret and how you use your dream, right? In order to be able to work on that. Okay. And this is a quote by a famous American Indian medicine man. So these are native people. Sometimes dreams are wiser than waking. So always to remember to keep thinking about what was the original vision, what was the original dream, what was the original mission. Are you still holding true to that as it's more focused and more clear? Okay. The next one, Theo. Right. So let's take a look at what is a mentor, right? So that we've already spent a lot of time looking at what is a leader and also different leadership styles. And the last time that we met, we started to tiptoe into these areas of mentoring and coaching, because mentoring and coaching have to do with providing resources and providing tools so that the people that are on your team can grow. And then if they grow, they're going to stay on your team, and then they can become better assets for your project. So what's a mentor? A mentor can be a caring adult, right, who makes an active, positive contribution to the life of another. So that could be almost anybody, right? When you think about it, a caring adult that makes an active or positive contribution to the life of another, right? A model what you have found to be successful in life and care enough to pass it on and pass it forward. Modeling. So a mentor is there to be able to say, this is how it looks, right? This is how it looks, so that you have an example through a model of what it looks like. So that you can encourage the person that works with you on your team in a very active and positive way to execute those steps. So thinking about it carefully, are there moments when you need to become somebody's mentor versus leading a team, or versus being a boss, right? But being a mentor, which is a softer approach in terms of, this is what it looks like, right? This is an example, and then this is how you can do it, right? So being a mentor. And then 5 reasons for this mentorship initiative, right? There might be 5 reasons why you need to be a mentor with your project, right? You intentionally, the process, the guide, the relationship. So you want to intentionally say, this is how we're going to do this, especially you, because yours is going to be online, right? That you're collecting orders online, you're doing customer service online. Your whole facet is they're going to buy the fruits and vegetables online, correct? And then support and involvement, right? You want to support them in what they're doing and get involved, and you want them to enhance their skill set, right? You want to define the outcome, so clearly defined and tracked, and you want to establish criteria to pair them up. So what's the best combination? So if you have somebody on your team that knows how to do something really well, right, then that means that this person can be paired up with that person that doesn't know how to do it very well. And maybe the person that doesn't know how to do it very well merely has to be mentored, right? That's all they need. They only need that intentional process that is going to guide them through learning how to do something, or support and involvement. A lot of times people confuse mentoring with on-the-job training. Okay, so you hear a lot about people saying, oh no, we just do on-the-job training in our group. Well, on-the-job training is you're going to actually train them to do some new things. Mentoring is they've already been to training and you are enhancing what they learned in training. Okay, so in mentoring, you're taking an opportunity out to sharpen it, to make sure that the people know how to do what they already learned in their training session. And especially with all of you that have small teams, you know, you have a small team, you want to take a look at, do I need to mentor or do I need to coach? So let's look at that next slide about coaching. Maybe you need to coach them and not mentor, right? Coaching has to do with guidance to give clarity. They already know what they're doing. They're doing a fine job, but they just need to perfect something. They need to sharpen it. They need to put it into focus. They just have one aspect of that that's not very clear, or it's a mistake, right? And they need to get that right. They need accountability. You want them to do this at a particular way each time. So they need to be accountable. That's when you need to coach somebody. Equipping them with the tools and knowledge and opportunities to fully develop. So you can't really hold somebody accountable if you haven't coached them, mentored them, or trained them, right? So if you've trained them, but then maybe you didn't give them, you know, like a guide or a handout or a manual, that's a tool, right? To be able to do it, to fully develop, right? Effective commitment to themselves, the project and the company, the place of work. So when we're coaching somebody, we're making sure that person is going to stay with the team, is going to stay with the project, right? Is going to stay with the group and the company. You've been working on your project for a while now. Have you had anybody leave, like that you wanted to have them stay, or has everybody pretty much stayed with the whole process up to now?
Oh, I'm working now and have already started at Mamilor. I delegate to my cousins. She
Right.
had more time to supervise the culture and check it. And most of the time, two times a week, I go there to supervise and so to have. That's it. And now I think that's that's a better way for me to correlate the two how to say it,
Mhm.
the two rules that we have of the project association and my own. That's it. I have to delegate.
Right. So it sounds like you're doing, like in terms of the style. Go back 1 second, Theo, for that equal sign, and then we'll go to the other one. Yeah. So coaching really is a way of organizational resilience and effective change. And then you just gave the example of your cousin. So now let's go to the next slide, because it sounds to me like you're doing a style of coaching. So if we go to the next slide, you're going to see that there's democratic coaching, the other one, the other that there's democratic coaching, holistic coaching, and autocratic coaching. The other one has the circle, has the three types. There you go. So basically, you're coaching or you're checking in with your cousin to make sure that she knows how to do it. And it sounds like she's fairly independent and she knows how to do it. So therefore, you know, you have a pretty holistic relationship with her, right? So you check in with her once a week. That helps you so that you don't feel overwhelmed. That helps her so that she stays on track. Okay. So this is a holistic style of coaching where you're taking into consideration what are all of the things that you have to do and what are all of the things that need to progress. And you're going to make sure you check in with her. Okay. So that checking in with her, making sure she has the tools and resources to move forward is this form of holistic style of coaching versus, a democratic style of coaching, which basically you'd gather the team and they would all say what they need coaching in, right? Where autocratic, like the teachers usually can foretell what somebody needs coaching in. So it becomes more autocratic because you can tell what are the strengths and weaknesses of your students, right? But sometimes in teams, if something is very new, then a democratic way of coaching is useful. And if you can keep looking at the development of something, like in your case, then the holistic style of coaching comes into play. Very nice. Okay, the next one. Right. So what does your group need then? Right. So even right there, you were saying how you're checking in with somebody once a week, right? So that's really a form of coaching, right? You don't have to mentor her because she seems to have a good grasp of what she's doing. And then you were providing her with some tools or resources so that if she had any questions, she can have like a little cheat sheet, to look upon. I have those kind of things too. Like we're providing those for you now in the last, 15 days of our work together, is that this cheat sheet or this resource is something that you can go back and look at it and take a look and say, oh, I remember how to do that. Okay, I remember. So usually a tool or a resource involves a tactile kinesthetic, either writing something down or drawing a picture or making a graph or a diagram. It might involve, like in your case, you can go back and listen to the YouTube presentations. So that taps into your auditory as well as your visual. So thinking about what are the tools that the team members need. Do they need at certain times for you to lead them, right? And in other times, do they need a mentor, which is a much more soft approach. Well, I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know what the letter should look like. And then you would have an example of the letter, right? Or I don't even know where to start. How do I write that email? And you would give them an example of the email, right? As a mentor. As a coach, you would say, go ahead and write the email, go ahead and write the letter and show it to me. And then we can fine tune it together. And then you're helping them develop as a coach. Okay. So thinking very carefully, does your projects need, when does your project need the leader? When does your project need a mentor? When does your project need a coach? And then being clear so that since they're a small group, so you can change your hat, right? When are you a leader versus a mentor versus a coach? Okay. So the next slide. So what do you do, right? So thinking carefully about what you're doing right now. Are you really mentoring? Are you teaching? Are you advising? So all of these words get a little confused sometimes, right? Are you counseling? Are you training them? Are you guiding them? Are you being a leader, a tutor, right? So what is the best competency for your project? Okay. What is the best, competitive strategy that will dictate which one of these competencies you're going to choose, right? What do you need to do in your meetings? What do you need to do in your note taking and your log about your documentation about how the project is moving forward? At some points, you may realize, oh, I need training. I need formal training here. That's all there's to it. Or no, I just need an advisor. I need to go ask somebody some questions about something, or you need to be mentored, right? Or you need to be led or guided, right? So these might sometimes get confused. The lines get blurred. Being a mentor isn't necessarily the same as being a teacher, right? So training somebody, and especially in this environment of online learning, we might think that that's a training session, or we might think it's a mentoring session or a coaching session, or is it a leader meeting, or is it a teaching session, or am I just giving advice, right? Especially on online, when you're doing anything online, those are some of the lines that get blurred. Okay, so what does this aspect allow you to do? So we can only see a short distance ahead, right? But we can see plenty there that needs to be done. Okay, so when you're looking ahead, when you're looking at what are the tasks, and I know you, Joan of Arc, you had told us of all the things that you have to do right now. You have to get it all into position. So when you're thinking about that entire to-do list, you may see the huge to-do list, but then the things that are right there in the forefront, those are the ones that you're going to work on, you know, in the immediate moment, right? Because you're not going to have necessarily time to do them all yourself, which is why you need a team, right? So that's how you're going to be able to delegate. Remember, that was a style, right, of leadership, how you will delegate some of these tasks as you're moving forward, okay? So that, I thought that that was an important aspect for you to look at. And we still have a little bit of time, so we can take a look together at the Playmaker book to make sure that there's no questions about that one. But for the moment now, I hope that makes it more clear. I know there were questions about the leader, mentor, coaches, so we really wanted to, you know, fine tune that.
In what stage your project is developing, how it's going, and until I'm starting the playbook. And
that's right. So, well, it looks like we have somebody else with us too.
yes, but it's not able to talk because he's in school.
Oh, right, sure, of course, no problem. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, but that's good anyway, because then you get the recording right away, right? Whenever we hang up, then you're going to get that recording immediately. You don't have to wait for the recording on the YouTube channel. So so in terms of your project, can you see clearly if there's some aspects that would require mentoring, coaching, or leadership?
Of course, I can make difference, and as I can say, according to the project, education project, I'm mentoring again because I'm searching to help any one of them who can make the same job like me, but I still mentoring again.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
so that you're kind of mentoring them and coaching them, frankly, as well as leading them, because you're the one with the vision, right?
The main person in the project. You had a partner, right? I remember that you told us that you are not alone in this project. And
for the association projects, we have free partner, two free partner now. And for my own project, just the local partner. We have just local partner, the local partner. Most of them are women's.
great, that's very nice. That's amazing. Women empowerment, it's very important. Actually, I had already interest of your projects and agricultural products from Senegal, partners in Europe and Bulgaria?
It's not just agriculture. We are focused to agribusiness. All local products.
Local products. Uh-huh.
All local products. Fruits, vegetables, and the product to providing the transformations about artisanal.
Oh, our artisanal as
products.
well. Cool. Okay.
Because that's a platform. We might have a platform. So we open for all members of associations and all fit partners.
Well, that's excellent. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sounds very promising.
And you were thinking of somebody already, Theo, that you can introduce her
Yes,
to?
yeah. I think it's this is gonna be one of the main effects of the platform that we are creating. This sharing between Africa and Europe, and I hope, because we was talking today with Mr. Sar about the mission in Bulgaria, which is going to happen now. We are planning for September this year. I hope you will be part of this mission. I really hope that you can present and we can see how we
Do
can.
they get to go to Bulgaria, or will it be online?
No, it's a real mission. It's gonna be a travel to Bulgaria.
Wow,
Yeah.
excellent.
For
Can
10,
you go?
For
Can
10
she
leaders.
come?
I don't know. Maybe about just about my planning. I cannot. I left the team because we have just started many months, and we have a mission about the alphabetization direction. How to say it again? I don't know.
Yeah, we will see.
Maybe
you can try.
I cannot promise you. I cannot promise you.
Think about it. You can communicate with them online instead of in person, and then you be in person in Bulgaria. So that's a good exercise, because they would have to be able to see how the platform works with somebody online, right? And Bulgaria has great connectivity. So you can, be communicating with them online, and you could take advantage of this amazing opportunity to go to Bulgaria and meet some of the people in person. Oh, I hope you go.
We'll see. But how is going? How is developing? You are working on the platform, and do you
yes,
have?
I'm working of the platform, but for now, just the artisanal product that we have it, because before sharing, according to the counsel of my partner, we have to collect more before sharing. We have to collect more product. And now,
you need more products.
And now we have just artisanal product.
I think
we need more products, and focus also on the original products, the products who are attested ISN and UTA also.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have people who is interested from cashew producing and also some fruits and avocado. I think you can. This is the potential areas of interest in Europe.
Yes, but to buy it out of the countries, we need to have another kind of products, not just fruits and vegetables,
Yes,
because you have many actors there. Most of the time, the people who are there have not again the affinity about the technology. That's the problem that we have there.
you mean
We
the
need
technology of
we need
producing products, or what you mean by technology?
most of the time they prefer to go on the markets, the supermarkets. That's the problem. That's why we have focused
Absolutely, absolutely.
on other people.
I understand.
So we have to try about it and sensibilize them, because
Mhm. Yes,
I'll
absolutely.
find that's very tough job that we have, just
Yeah, absolutely,
to
absolutely.
encourage them about.
I understand. Okay. Uh, I think might be, and she's muted. But do you have somewhere where we can already see some of the products and something that you already have online, or is it possible to check and
So I can share you the LinkedIn page and Twitter also and Facebook,
nice?
but the platform no.
No, yeah, I know you are working on the platform, but it's gonna be very nice if we can support you, like the Facebook page, and probably even promote it. And of course, we can
Okay.
promote it in Europe, but at least, and this will be, we can give more advices and uh, and support as much as we can from
There you
from
go.
our
You
part.
see, Theo just
Yeah, come
used the
on.
right word, right? He just said advice at this point. So there you can see from that long list, sometimes you would need a mentor or a coach, like you were saying, with some of the people that you know back at home. But Theo just used the correct terminology. He said, we can give you some advice about how to move forward with that, and we can help you with those things. So there you can see you have a long list of possibilities of how to get more people involved. So which ones do you need? Do you need the mentor? Do you need the coach, the leader? It would be great, of course, that you wouldn't have to be on the ground all the time, and you could go take advantage of that trip to Bulgaria, so that that might help. And frankly, in Bulgaria, Theo knows some really good technology people too, don't you? So that might be also interesting. So there's the change maker playbook that we can look
Definitely.
at, for the last 10 minutes. And if there's any questions, but you can see how if we just flip. In fact, Theo, you can just make it a slide presentation so that the pages just flip by themselves. And then we can have like a nice global overview of it. You can probably up there make it a slide presentation. It's all the way up there. Like if you go up to the menu bar, the orange menu bar on the top, all the way up there. You move your arrow all the way up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Around there. Isn't there one of those little pieces? There's a picture of the presentation all the way at the top of the page to the left up there. Yeah, there you go. Cool. And then that'll just give you a global overview on yourself there. So you can see that some of it we have reviewed as we were going through our weekly sessions. And so some of it will be familiar where now it's coming together, right? Day in the life of your project, and what are the young people like that want to work there, and or that want to take advantage of your product. In fact, you yourself were saying one of the challenges is changing the mindset that they could get it online versus in person, right? What is youth work for you? What does it mean? How is it organized in Senegal? What are areas of excellence? So all of these different things that we've talked about, what's a project's social responsibility of that project, or your unique value proposition, right? What's your change model? How do you know that you're going to be able to change the mindset and change the way that people get their artisan objects as well as their produce and so on online, buying it online. Huh? The problem. So what are the problems? Why did you want to do this project? Why is buying things online going to be a good solution for the future? What are environmental leadership skills that are needed, right? What are the strengths, the weaknesses? What kind of energy do you need to infuse? Right now, like you said, you're putting a lot of your own energy in there, right? So what kind of energy needs to be infused into your project, and thinking about that. And then the 4 Ps, right? What's the philosophy, the project, the process, the people involved in the project? What kind of transformation will occur in your project, in your industry, in your town, in your city, in your country? What are those kind of transformations? What kind of transactional leadership is needed, or participative leadership might be needed, or delegative, right? So we've talked about all these little bits and pieces. Now we're putting it all together. What are some of those job responsibilities, right? Like you're saying, oh, I don't know if I can go to Bulgaria because I got to stay here with the group, right? What's your message, right? Who are we? What is the core values? What do we do? What do we bring to the table that's different? What's the value proposition? Yeah. So what's the message? And then what's that vision, right? What's the vision? What's the mission of the project? How is that contributing to what the value proposition is of the project, to the impact? What makes you unique, right? So what makes you unique? Are you the future Amazon for Africa, right? So that they can start to learn how to purchase things and do some business online. What are the resources for that process, right? What kind of networking, and then what are the statutes and procedures for the project, right? And what kind of culture are you building? You're changing mindset. So you're definitely building culture. You're building a new mindset and a new culture. And then you're keeping that simple enough so that people want to migrate toward it, but at the same time, it's unique and innovative. Yeah. So as you can see, you've thought about all these before. And then how do you outreach beyond Senegal? And is it measurable? Will you be able to measure? This is what we were able to do in Dakar. This is what we could do in Senegal. When do you want to provide training versus coaching? We were just talking about that one today. When do you need to train? When do you need to coach? What kind of feedback do you give your teammates, and what kind of feedback do they give you? Right? So that there's a two-way street to that, where they can give you their ideas and suggestions. And then you can give them your ideas and suggestions. And then how do you recognize and reward performance? You were saying you meet with somebody once a week. Obviously, they come to depend on that meeting once a week to touch base with you. Is there any documentation that needs to be developed so that you can capture what's working and get rid of what isn't working, but you're capturing what is working, right? And then how do you celebrate when you have made an accomplishment that works and that you see it growing? making sure to celebrate that so that you get more energy, to move forward with it. And, whenever you're dealing with an innovative project, you always need to have that time to celebrate your flow of energy. And when you're celebrating, think about carefully, what did you do? Who benefited from your actions? Because that helps you to replicate excellence, right? So what did you do? Who benefited from the action? That kind of thing is the things that you want to think about. So all of these kind of things, how will this have a long-lasting impact on your team? And why will these outcomes build capacity in your country? So a double-sided coin. How does it benefit the team? How does it benefit the country? And make lists for every meeting, like what's their motivation like? What are the needs? Are these changing or are these staying stagnant? Did you identify the correct ones in the beginning, or do you need to modify the global leadership aspect of it? So that way, as the project grows, the global leadership gets more in focus, becomes much more focused, right? And then leadership across cultures, right? You are an extension of a future for your country. So the vision and the mission goes beyond Dakar, beyond Senegal, right? And the performance. So state what is the desired performance that you want. So these things, as you make them sentences, you're committing to them. You're solidifying them. Why do we do this? What are the results we want? Will existing tools and resources work out? Who should be involved? What do we expect? Any possible obstacles, and how are we going to deal with them? Right? Do you need to make some looking for new tools and resources, or do you already have it? Okay. So all these kind of things are things to consider. And then for your final presentation, bringing in all of these ideas will really help you to solidify and make that robust. So making it an action for change management, not just an action for the moment, but something that's going to have an impact. Okay. And that hence the name of this document, right? The Change Maker Playbook, right? And which one of these work for your project? Which one of these do you already have? And which one of these do you need to move toward, or which one don't you need, right? Do you need to align things? Do you need communication? Do you need to redesign something or restructure something or standardize a process? Whenever you're developing an innovative project, it's going to involve how people change and how people build capacity. So these are important to look at. Okay, so as you can see, when you go through all of these are all things to think about, right? So the strategies that will lead to action steps. What are performance gaps? Think about those very detailed ones in the reference of knowledge economy skills, right? So no sense to look at them for industrial economy, right? We need to look at them for what we're moving toward the future, knowledge economy or quantum economy. So are there any performance gaps there that you need to work on? Okay. So for sure, that might be a good one to spend some time with. We talked on this one about knowledge economy and global economy and industrial economy and agricultural economy, right? So building internal change agents, ways to use the vision and the mission statement as a live creature. Like if that's another member of your team, right? What's your motto? That I live by, I hope to live by, right? So this is related to that vision and mission. So what are essential skills for global leaders, right? So the World Economic Forum has said adaptability, curiosity, empathy, alignment, collaboration, integration. So where do you rank in this list? Are you taking these into consideration as you're developing youthful leaders in your project? So shaping positive outcomes. with that time management, right? You were just saying this, being realistic with yourself. So knowing that you can't accomplish everything, so you have someone else working with you on some of these pivotal points that you can trust that she can get the job done, right? And how do you bring it into shape, bring it into focus? You can think about them like a cascade, right? Daily, weekly, monthly, right? So going down the cascade, how do you shape it? How do you work with the communication aspects, right? How do you facilitate that as a leader? How do you make sure that you facilitate all of the members of your team as their leader? How do you bring in higher level thinking, right? At last weekend when we met, one of your colleagues was saying, well, the students aren't just thinking about these things. They don't think that way. Well, I think he was talking here exactly about this. How do we get them to higher level thinking? So that would mean that we want to either do ordering and sequencing, give them some illustrations, some diagrams, some summaries, so that they have to put their own interpretation on those. Just like this has a lot of blank paper for you to go ahead and write your ideas or draw or doodle, throw in a French word here or there, so that you can make the abstract very concrete, okay, and bring those concepts into sharp vision. So what does the team need, right? Does the team need leadership? Does it need empowerment? Do you need to remove obstacles about it? Do you need a new job design, viability for a new job design? What are the needs to be able to execute and bring your innovative project to reality, okay? And then what does the team need to do in terms of their performance? So what's their purpose? What are their roles? Is there some non-financial support like rewards? Are there some fundraising issues that need to be handled? Communication, social media, right? And then thinking about those great leaders that we talked about earlier in our sessions, think about their abilities, their skills, you know, clear vision, they had integrity, they had humility, they had clear focus, they were enthusiastic, they were knowledgeable. So how did some of those attributes of the great leaders, how are those moved over to your project, right? So that's the general taking a look at it in terms of the architecture of your organization, of your new organization. So all of those things that we just looked at, guiding ideas, the innovations inside the infrastructure, that's the architecture of you as a change maker, right? Are you very charismatic, or is it fields of influence, right? So is it based on just the personality, or is it fields of influence? Is there stewardship, which is accountability, reinventing relationships between team members and youth leaders? A lot of people like to talk about youth leaders, but within this leadership field, how do you have them grow, right? We talked about this one too a while back in April about what's that, a gravitational field or electromagnetic field, or is it a quantum field? How do you draw people to your project, right? How are they drawn to your project? How do you walk into your future, right? Because it's an innovative project. Process, philosophy, people, product, and skills. So you're walking into the future with this architecture. And is the team ready to take you into the future, right? Or do you need to add more people to the team or subtract some people? How's about fundraising? How is that aspect coming along? Do you need more help in that arena? Like Theo said, the people from the Bulgarian mission might be able to advise and help you in some of these aspects. But writing this all down as part of explaining your project is a way of empowering that whole structure, empowering the architecture while you're engineering all of these aspects for your project. Okay. And then what is that facilitator modality, right? An interdependent modality that works with when you're going to be talking to people, these European counterparts, about your project. You're kind of like, you know, telling them about something. But when you're telling them about your project, is it contagious, right? Or is it contagious because it's a collective vision? So it's innovation in practice. So the culmination of all these things, the characteristics about the present and the future, how in the present time you're going to solve problems that may occur in the future. You know? So the P and the F, the present and the future. Right, and then thinking about participatory leadership, do you need to have maybe a group that focuses very much on the vision and the mission of your project? Or do you need to have some people watching out for the present moment and some people watching out for the future, so that you don't lose track? And then maybe some people in the middle that bring forward some solutions for those future problems in the present time. Okay. So leaders that are building teams. So with your new project, you want to build the internal capacity of Dakar and Senegal. So team values, what are your team values? What do you want to see as people join your team? That's very unique to your project, right? What motivates your team? That's part of being a participatory leader. How you're building internal change agents, right? You're the change agent that has the vision for this whole architecture of this project that is going to have a big impact and a big influence. But the people in your team have to deal with team wellness. How do you keep them strong and moving forward so they don't get burnt out? You know, just in creating it, you don't want to see them burning out, right? So take a look at the team wellness as well. You see a lot of this nowadays in the news. They're talking about that, right? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing us, right? So think about all of these things for your presentation that we can have during the office hours, right? So that we can take a look at all of these aspects as a robust presentation. And in the very beginning, you all made some presentations, but now we want to inject it with some fuel, right? And get you to be able to present everything that you have in an exciting way. Okay. So leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. So those are two sides of one coin. So leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. So John F. Kennedy said that. Okay, so that's your Changemaker playbook. As you can see, that will certainly help you to gather up all your thoughts and to expand on your thoughts and bring them into focus. And some of you have already started this process with some other tools and resources. So doing it with the Changemaker book might be familiar. And the point of this one is to using and choosing the right words that work for you in English, whether or not they're simple English or intermediate English or advanced English, choosing some words, drawing some pictures, writing a French word on the side that reminds you, well, how would I say that in English, so that you can present a really passionate, robust presentation about your project. Any questions so far?
Thank you very much for this amazing short-term
Yeah, it was kind of
playbook
like
overview.
Gonzalez. Has anybody seen that little character? His name is Speedy Gonzalez. He used to be a cartoon character, and he used to do everything fast, you know. So that's,
Also like just make.
yeah, oh yeah, that was the Roadrunner,
The
the coyote and the Roadrunner. All right. Well, I
Okay.
hope that was clear, and I look forward to seeing you all via WhatsApp, because we're going to be sending you some more things on there. And then we'll see you on Saturday, right? Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
It
very
was nice
much,
seeing
Mr.
you.
Midaye
I
as
miss
well.
you.
Join a little
Bye.
bit later.
Bye.
Have a good evening and see you soon.